Alright guys, well, I just uploaded the map devblog, and I just recorded me talking about this devblog for the MiG-27M, but I'm going to re-record it and shorten it up by about 5 minutes, so we're going to make this one quick. If you've already played the MiG-23, you're pretty familiar with that, and essentially this is going to fly similar. I actually believe it has a slightly better engine, if not significantly better, so in the fighter role, it'll still be able to carry our 60s and our 13M1s, so it will still be a good, potent fighter aircraft. However, it's a bit heavier, and, well, it's a ground attacker. So I'm assuming it's going to come after the Su-17, and good thing I just got the USSR Rank 7, so I will be able to actually obtain this. Now, the pros and the cons of the MiG-27M is that it has very high speed, a very large variety of weapon presets and smart weapons, and also a variable sweep wing. So those are its pros. Its cons is a low amount of countermeasures and a lack of sensors to detect targets, which means that it's not going to have an aerial radar for IRST and stuff like that. So essentially, the MiG-27M, there's a lot to read here, and I will link this dev blog in the description for you to mainly read it, but I'm going to kind of gloss over a lot of the reading. Essentially, it's going to be a MiG-23 in performance. It's going to have very good speed, a very good climb rate. However, the gun is now a 6-barreled 30mm with only 300 rounds, which means that you're going to have a very, very short burst time. It does get AP and APHE rounds, and I don't know the penetration, but considering that this is essentially the same gun, except it's in a rotary form that's on the Frogfoot, you're going to get some pretty decent ground attack capabilities. I mean, just look at the thing. It just looks like a thinner Frogfoot. From like the nose, from like the intakes forward, it literally looks like a Frogfoot on the nose. So, and it's also using that same like TV camera that the Frogfoot uses, and also I think that this K50 uses. I think it's like pretty much the exact same system. So that's what we're gonna have to deal with the gun. However, as you can tell, it's got a lot of smart weaponry. It's going to have KH-29Ts and KAB-500KRs, which are going to be guided munitions. KH-29Ts are going to be missiles, so similar to the Mavericks, and the KAB-500KRs are going to be guided bombs. The KAB-500s are these right here that you see, and the KH-29Ts are these. So the thing about this is that they have a correlation seeker. Essentially, unlike the Maverick, these are not going to be able to track moving targets. They're only going to be able to track points on the ground, which means you might still be able to lock a tank up if it's stationary, but the second it starts moving, it's not really going to work. So this is going to be very good at removing camping tanks and SAMs, obviously, if they're not moving. So that's the kind of the drawback of the Russians, and this is kind of how it worked in real life. Russia was always kind of behind America for guided weaponry. Once we started getting guided weaponry in Vietnam, and precision became more important than just sheer tonnage of bombs dropped, especially with that one bridge I forget the name of in Vietnam that we had dropped tons, like thousands if not a million tons on. Alone, and we never destroyed it until we had laser guided bombs, or well, TV guided bombs at the time. So yeah, the main drawback is you're not going to be able to hit moving targets, but you will be able to sit at a very high altitude with these guided bombs, and depending on how far you can actually see down below you or in front of you, essentially you're just going to be able to bomb cap zones, spawns, stationary campy positions that usually are very vital positions that you would want to remove tanks from if they're shooting at your teammates. So being able to sit outside SAM range is, I'm assuming, going to be a possibility using these guided bombs. But yeah, it still is a MiG-23 essentially. The sweep wing is very nice for speed. However, when you're at low altitude, if you're using KH-29Ts and you're doing fast gun runs or rocket runs, be mindful that these planes, when their wings are swept back, will fall out of the sky. They're not generating the same kind of lift that they are when the wings are extended forward. So, and I've found this out personal experience using the MiG-23 with S-24s and ground RB, that you need to be mindful of the fact that you will fall out of the sky, you will clip the tail on pieces of ground or trees, stuff like that. However, one thing I want to bring up, because of this, since it is a swing wing, Gaijin needs to fix the freaking damage models of swing wings. When the wings are swept back, the damage model of the wing should follow the wings direction. It shouldn't be always extended, yet you're flying fast, going Mach 1 with the wing swept back. The damage models need to be fixed if they keep adding more swing wings, and they will add more swing wings. We will eventually get a Tomcat in War Thunder. It is just an inevitability. Gaijin always said they would never do X thing. Well, guess what? They did X thing. So this needs to be something really addressed for these aircraft to actually kind of be good in a way that means that they won't be clipping their wings, and they won't be getting their wings knocked out from missiles that come close but really never hit you in the first place because your wings are folded back. So that's one thing that is going to be very important for these aircraft moving forward. And yeah, I really don't have much else to touch on with the MiG-27. It's going to be very straightforward, ground attacker, except it's just going to have some new forms of ordnance. And I will, if I have the time, I don't know when the first dev server is going to be. If it's before my college starts, and I actually do have the time to do it, I will demonstrate these weapon systems on the dev server on stream. But otherwise, I really have nothing else to say. Actually, no, I do have one thing else to say. Stop asking for the aardvark, people. Stop asking for the aardvark. It's a piece of shit. It's not gonna work in this game. It's gonna ruin ARB. It's gonna get a spiked repair cost, and it's just gonna suck. Okay, stop asking for that. The thing that would make more sense in the game would be the Thunder Chief, because it can actually do something. Although, again, I still think the Thunder Chief might be a bit too good right now in terms of what it can carry and how fast it can go with bombs. So I think Gaijin's kind of experimenting with later ground attackers. We might see a Frogfoot or an A-10 within the next year. I don't think we'll see it by the end of the year, but it might be possible in 2022 to see things like the A-10 and the Frogfoot, because that's where Gaijin's moving forward with this. They've mainly been trying to focus War Thunder as a combined operations type game. This aircraft might not be the best for ARB, for ground strike. It's going to get R13M1s and R60s, so it might be a pretty decent aircraft in ARB. But otherwise, it's going to be fulfilling a niche role, depending on what you want to do and depending on which game mode you're playing. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it for me. As always, I will link this Devblog in the description below. Stop asking for the freaking aardvark, please. The stupidest thing in the world, people. Come on. That's just ridiculous. It's going to suck. But yeah, as always, guys, I'm Stu Wolf, and see you guys next time.